A couple thousand for my rent. Sometimes I wonder all the sense. I wonder why my by my bed, me diva sleep. Mommy say when you coming home, cause every day I'm a day I wrote. She said the food up on the stove, me diva eat. Train I know, me make a promise to myself. Me have to do it, me have to do it. Me have my family for feed. Me have a firm and on the ground, me can't be weak. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. So mommy please pray for me. Daddy, me know say I don't really want to see me in the street, but pray for me. For keep me safe in the studio while the whole world asleep. Just pray for me. Watch where the evil them I sit down and I wait for me. And anytime you get the time and if me run across your mind, clasp your hands, close your eyes and me I beg you please pray. Truth is, I blame myself for few things. One, I should have never chose no one and
Blessings family, wagwan. This is Lady B Unstoppable and I'm gonna be giving another update regarding to Rashawn Patterson. Now basically I'm seeing two different scenarios in the media. So the first one talk about the fact that Rashawn Patterson, the person of interest named in the MURDER investigation of Anika Slickianner Townsend, had fled the island. He was identified as a person of interest after Townsend's body was found at the beach in St. James last Friday. Patterson was told to turn himself in by Saturday 5 p.m., but he has not done so and he is believed to board a flight in one of the major airports in Jamaica to Atlanta. So we don't know if that is accurate. However, that's what's being said. Allegedly. Now there was another thing I go on where say police have no evidence. So right about now me confused. Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, the head of Jamaica Constabulary Corporate Communications Unit, say there's no evidence that Rashawn Patterson, the person of interest in the death of Anika Slickianner Townsend, left the country. Lindsay stated that no record shows Patterson has left the country. So right now I'm confused. I don't know if he leave or he not leave. Patterson was indicated as a person of interest after the social media influencer's body was found at a beach in St. James last Friday. So right now we still await to see what is the right news. So right now, guys, I have some sad news. Sad news. There's another school shooting. St. Louis. Yes, very sad news. So, this was a 19-year-old man who did the SHOOTING. Two persons were KILLED and several others were wounded. And I'm going to let you hear from the police commissioner and also the principal who gave some information regarding to this scenario. So I'm like, RIP to the teacher and the student who passed and gone. Boy, this is so brutal. Boy, you know, say this are right down in my alley, you know. The 19-year-old GUNMAN who KILLED two people, wounded several others at his former high school. He left a note saying his struggles led to the perfect storm for a mass SHOOTER. His name is Orlando Harris and he graduated from the Central Village and Performing Arts High School last year. He returned Monday, that is 10/24, with a AR-15 style rifle, over 600 rounds of ammo, and more than a dozen high-capacity magazines. That's what the commissioner, Mike Sachs, said. Harris, died in the hospital after a gun battle with the officers. So this is so tragic for these teachers and traumatic for the students and the entire school. Investigators found a handwritten note in the car Harris drove to school. Details some of the passages, and these were some of the things he said. I don't have any friends. I don't have any family. I've never had a girlfriend. I've never had a social life. I've been isolated, loner all my life. This was the perfect storm for a MASSSHOOTER. Given the GUNMAN's extensive arsenal, the tragedy could have been much worse, and they're going to talk about it. And the police commissioner is going to tell you the persons who passed and the persons who got injured. Alexandra, one of the persons who died, 15 years old, was a talented dancer. And the teacher, Miss Kushka, she DIED protecting her students. So during the evacuation from the school, one student looked at the officer and said, the SHOT Miss Kushka. And then she said that Miss Kushka has put herself between the GUNMAN and the students. Oh my God. That's a hero. Kushka was looking forward to retiring in a few years. Her daughter, Abigail Kushka, reported. There's a question that's saying, how did the man get inside? Bell, the father of Alexandria, said he's struggling and he's trying to figure out how did the SHOOTER get inside. He said he don't know and he want to know. Authorities said that the doors were locked, but there's no detail as to how the shooter get inside. It's like a mystery. Nobody know he get inside. But I'm not sure if that school have cameras, so this probably will be reported later on. The school principal, this is how this is how the drill went down. The school principal came over the intercom, and basically they have a way to put their stuff across. And they say Miles Davis is in the building to let the faculty know that it's an active SHOOTER in the building. So we know we do drills and everything, but basically, based on my thought, I think they have a specific way to say if there's a really active SHOTER and it's not a drill. I instantly but calmly went to lock my door and turn the lights off. That's what a teacher said. And then she turned to her kids and tell everyone to get in the corner. She said within a minute of locking the door, she heard it jostling very, very aggressively. And she want to commend her students because they were quiet. And that's the ideal thing when there is a situation like that. Hide and stay quiet. Adrian Bolden, a freshman at the school, reported that the students thought it was a drill until they heard the sirens and noticed their teachers were scared. The teacher, she crawled over and she asked for help to move the lockers to the door so they can't get in. And we started hearing glass breaking from the outside, GUNSHOTS, outside the door. Because you know how the school them set up, well, some schools, you have a little glass right at the door there, so where you can't look through, right? There's a glass right there. I don't know if that glass is bulletproof or what, but there's a glass right there. I don't think it's bulletproof. Sophomore Brian Collins, 15, suffered GUNSHOT wounds to his hands and jaw. He escaped by jumping from a classroom window onto a ledge, his mother, Vandina Washington, said. He told me they heard the active SHOTER notification over the intercom, so everyone in the class hid. According to her son, the GUNMAN then came to the classroom and FIR'd several shots before leaving. So after the GUNMAN left the third floor, Washington said another student opened a classroom window and they jumped out. Right? Brian had a numbness in his hands and trouble moving one of his right fingers. He is really good at drawing, that's what the mom said. So she's hoping that, he'll get better. And I pray that he'll get better too. Math teacher also was there on the scene. Said everyone went into the drill mode and turned off the lights, locked the doors, huddled in the corner so they could not be seen. And then someone tried to open the door and said, you're all going to effing die. A short time later, a bullet came through the window in his classroom. Oh, Jesus. Good God Almighty, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine this. His classroom was on the third floor. And that's where the police engaged the SHOOTER. Now, the timeline is very quick and fast. In comparison to the Uvalde, the Texas, the Parkland, and the Florida timeline. So basically, they're saying there was no sidewalk conference like what to do or whatever. They just jump right into action because the active SHOOTER call came in 9:11 a.m., right? And according to the timeline provided by the commissioner. And then he was engaged and in a GUNFIGHT, and 2 minutes later, at 9:23 and 2 minutes later, they reported the suspect was down. So basically somebody was saying, what happened to the other 8 minutes? So what was explained was that they had to talk the teachers and try to get talk to students and teachers to get more information I think probably to find out where the active shooter is. So right now I'm going to let you hear from the principal, and then you will hear from the police commissioner as he break down the timeline regarding the active SHOOTER situation.
I first would like to give condolences to the student, Alexandria Bell, who was a very bright student, very charismatic, beautiful spirit, a wonderful dancer, beautiful inside and out. And to the family of Miss Bell, very supportive family, thank you for trusting us with your scholar. And we did our very, very best to protect not just Alexandria, but for all of our students. This was not an easy task on yesterday. Not only did we lose Alexandria, but we also lost Miss Jean Kushka, a veteran teacher. She was a PE teacher and a health teacher, and she traveled over 40 miles per day to and from work to show love, to lead, to coach the students that was in her care. And on yesterday, although it was her last day with us, we also know that on yesterday, it was also a beginning for all of us, because our home as CVPA will no longer be the same. So we offer condolences to the Kushka family as well as the Bell family. It will not be the same, but I will say this. Yesterday will not be the same for any of us, but it was a very heroic moment. And we were able to see our St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, but most importantly, the St. Louis Public Schools safety and security work alongside with the school leaders. And it's the part that the cameras did not see, that the news cannot report because you weren't there. But we saw total community happen on yesterday. No one prepared me for this part of the job, but I wouldn't have been anywhere else. I was supposed to be there on yesterday. And I talk about leading with courage and leading fearlessly. I was challenged yesterday to do just that. And as I continue to lead with courage and fearlessness, I could not do it without the support of my heroic staff and the students who were able to follow our lead and our directive. And so although it was tragic, it could have been worse.
There you have it, guys. Now I'm gonna let you listen to what the police commissioner have to say, and I want you to go ahead and drop RIP in the chat for Alexandra Bell, the student, and for Miss Kushka, the teacher.
a.m. The call came in for an active shooter at the high school. At 9:15, officers arrive on scene and make entry. At 9:23, the officers have located the suspect and begin engaging him in a gunfight. At 9:25, the call comes in for the suspect being down. At 9:32, he's secured. And at 9:52, the building is cleared with an initial sweep. That sweep was followed up by the SWAT team, again by the bomb dog, and then some others. After that, we allowed our investigators and our evidence technicians into the building. But we wanted to make sure you were aware of the timeliness of the response. I can't say enough how well the officers did, getting there on scene as quickly as they did, making entry, locating the suspect, not just by hearing the gunfire, but by talking to kids and teachers as they're leaving, getting some idea based on a description of where they last saw that suspect, so that they could take some kind of action to stop that threat. Our victims, the two decedents, one is a 61-year-old white female. She was transported and pronounced at a local hospital. The second is a 16-year-old black female. She remained on the scene and was pronounced there. The third is a 16-year-old black male, suffered a gunshot wound to the leg. He's in stable condition at a local hospital. The fourth is a 16-year-old black female who suffered a graze wound to the leg and is stable. The 15-year-old is a black male. The fifth victim, a gunshot wound to both hands and his jaw. He's stable. The sixth victim is a 15-year-old black male who suffered a gunshot wound to an arm and is stable. The next victim is a 15-year-old Hispanic female who suffered abrasions to her face and her knee, and she's stable. The next victim is a 16-year-old black female with a fractured ankle, and she's stable. And the last victim is a 15-year-old black male who suffered abrasions to his face, and he's stable. The suspect in this incident is Orlando Harris. He's a black male, 19 years of age, and graduated from the high school last year. He lives in the 9000 block of Pennsylvania with family members, and he has no prior criminal history. At this time, we're working with our Force Investigation Unit and other detectives to try and come up with what might have led him to this. There's suspicions that there may be some mental illness that he was experiencing. We're working on developing that information right now. The investigation's still ongoing. This could have been much worse. The individual had almost a dozen 30-round, high-capacity magazines on them. So that's a whole lot of victims there. But because of the quick response, that suspect didn't have the opportunity to turn this into. It's certainly tragic for the families, and it's tragic for our community, but it could have been a whole.
This is the end of another video, but before me go, the other day there was a SHOOTING. Yes, there was a mass shooting in Raleigh, North Carolina. Yes. Now the vigil is gonna happen. Actually, the vigil happened the 23rd of October. The shooting takes place October 13. 5 persons died. Their names are Nicole Connors, Susan Carnat, Mary Marshall, Gabriel Torres, James Thompson. So these were the persons who were injured in the shooting. No, these were the persons who were KILLED. 3 others were injured, and those 3 others were Marcel Gardner, Casey Joseph Clark, 33, I don't know where the other person is. No, the alleged SHOOTER also is was injured, and they said he's recovering from the hospital. So initially they said that he would be tried as an adult, but I don't know like the update with it. So this is just to kind of keep everybody in tune with what's going on, not only Jamaica but in and around the world, because we always have to be vigilant, we have to be watchful, we have to be prayed up, right? So guys, just remember, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell. If you not like the video yet or share the video yet, go ahead, like and share the video. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, just go ahead and do so. Thank you guys for watching, and I hate to bring you this bad news, but we have to stay in tune, because we need to know that we need to always be on the alert, be watchful, and always make sure that we observe our environment. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe.